Have you ever felt like you're just stuck on a relentless treadmill? You know, the lights are always on, the phone's always buzzing, and there's this almost suffocating pressure to be productive all the time, 24/7.
Oh, absolutely. It's utterly exhausting, isn't it?
It really is. And this constant push, this need to be on, it often leads to something the World Health Organization actually has a name for: occupational burnout.
Precisely. And the WHO is clear it's specifically a work-related thing, stemming from chronic workplace stress that, well, just hasn't been managed properly.
So what are the signs we should look out for?
Well, the big ones are feeling really drained, like total energy depletion, exhaustion, also feeling mentally distant from your job, maybe cynical or negative about it, and feeling like you're not effective professionally anymore.
That sounds serious.
It is. And what's really striking, maybe even alarming, is how much these symptoms overlap with clinical depression. We're talking chronic weakness, getting tired really easily, even problems with memory and focus. Yeah, research actually shows that people experiencing burnout report just as many depressive symptoms as patients diagnosed with depression. And their cortisol levels, the stress hormone, look very similar to those in atypical depression.
That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? In this world that's constantly demanding more, what if the real answer, the key to getting our energy back, finding peace, even being more effective, isn't pushing harder?
What if it's doing nothing?
Exactly. It sounds almost radical, doesn't it? So today we're diving deep into this idea, looking at wisdom, both old and new, that really champions the power of stillness, of downtime.
And exploring how doing nothing isn't just passive rest. It's actually an active path to real change.
Okay, so let's unpack this first part. Why is this constant pressure to produce actually harming us? We hear grind culture all the time, be busy.
Right. But the sources we looked at show something pretty stark. This always-on pressure doesn't just wear us out, it actually makes us less capable of real creativity, of deep, meaningful work.
Because we're not machines. That's the core of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. You're not a machine. Sustained performance, think of a finely tuned instrument. It needs those periods of stillness. It can't just be constant output, output, output.
That feeling of needing to be productive 24/7, it just ramps up the stress, the performance anxiety.
It really does. And we put these crazy expectations on ourselves, like we have to create a masterpiece the second we sit down with a blank page. That's just not how it works.
Right. Pausing isn't procrastinating.
No. It's giving yourself the space needed for, insight to actually bubble up. You're gearing up for brilliance, not slacking off.
And then there's that comparison thing, the productivity comparison pitfall. You hop on social media.
Oh, yeah. And there's Paul telling everyone he cranked out 20 projects this month, worked 300 hours.
It's so easy to feel inadequate, right? Comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel. But it's about writing your own story of success, not just reading theirs.
Definitely. And the pressure even makes us feel guilty for resting, which is ironic because that guilt and rumination just make us less productive.
We tell our friends, hey, it's okay, take a break. But we rarely give ourselves that same permission.
So true. And this isn't just mental, is it? The physical toll is very, very real.
Yeah, you mentioned those terms. Karushi.
Kushi in Japan, Kwarosa in Korea, both mean death from overwork. These aren't just like cultural concepts, they're tragic realities.
That example of Prince Albert is chilling. Queen Victoria's husband literally worked himself to death.
Essentially, yes. He had Crohn's disease, which we know is made much worse by stress. He pushed himself relentlessly for years, ignoring the warning signs, trying to manage everything. The stress just exacerbated his condition fatally.
It's a stark reminder. Even elite athletes, people we think of as physically invincible,
they suffer too. Overuse injuries, burnout. It's not just about the big collisions. Michael Phelps, arguably the greatest swimmer ever.
He quit prematurely because of burnout, right?
He did. And he had to totally rethink his training, build in more balance, just to get back in the water. It shows that even peak performers have to protect themselves, protect their longevity.
Like Eliud Kipchoge, the marathon runner. His philosophy.
Training at 80–90% effort most of the time. He saves that full-out burst for the actual race. Because life, like he knows, is a marathon, not a sprint. Pacing is everything.
Okay, so we see the harm in constant pressure. Now, how do we actively reclaim our minds? Stillness seems key, but just being present feels incredibly hard today.
It really does. Our minds are always somewhere else rehashing the past, worrying about the future.
That Marina Abramovich performance, the artist is present, that sounds intense.
Oh, incredibly. Sitting silently for 750 hours. just being there, crossing strangers. Think about the discipline required just to stay in the present moment.
She couldn't let her mind drift.
She said if she did, the person opposite her could often feel it. She had to ignore everything: hunger, discomfort, time itself. She called it doing something that is close to nothing, but it demands all of you.
Wow, it really highlights how much we miss by not being present. You take a picture of a beautiful sunset.
Instead of just experiencing it.
Yeah.
We want to learn to see the world like an artist does, fully engaged, noticing the details, not stressed about tomorrow.
And the best athletes, in those high-pressure moments, they're totally present, in the zone.
Exactly. Because greatness, clarity, insight, happiness, peace, none of that exists in the future or the past. It's only right here, right now, in this moment.
So how do we cultivate that? Limiting inputs seems like a big one.
Definitely. We're drowning in information. Remember the CNN effect they talked about in the 90s? 24-hour news-making leaders constantly reactive?
Yeah, just reacting to the latest thing.
Well, Napoleon apparently had a strategy for this. He'd let his mail pile up for 3 weeks.
3 weeks? Seriously?
Yep. And he found that by the time he opened it, many of the urgent problems had just sorted themselves out without him doing anything.
That's brilliant, actually. It speaks to discerning what really needs our attention.
Right. Like the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. Focus on what counts.
Dorothy Day, the activist, she wrote in her diary something similar, right? Turn off your radio.
Put away your daily paper. Read one review of events and spend time reading. Basically, be selective. Avoid that analysis paralysis.
It's like garbage in, garbage out, but for your brain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good inputs lead to good outputs. Protect your mental bandwidth.
Which leads us nicely into cultivating actual silence. Deep thought. John Cage, the composer, he wanted a national day of quiet.
He did. And he had this profound experience in an anechoic chamber, a totally soundproof room. He expected silence, but instead he heard two sounds.
What were they?
His own nervous system and the pumping of his blood. It made him realize silence isn't absence of sound. It's about listening differently, hearing what's usually drowned out.
That's incredible. So his famous piece 4/4-33.
Where musicians just sit silently. It wasn't about achieving perfect silence, because that's impossible. It was about not adding to the noise, letting the existing sounds, the audience shifting, the air conditioning become the music.
Listening to what's already there. Thomas Carlyle said, "Thought will not work except in silence."
And Mr. Rogers, remember him, so gentle. But he always encouraged kids to slow down, to think. He told a friend who was struggling, just be quiet and think. It'll make all the difference.
It's not about not thinking then. It's about thinking deeply.
Precisely. Like the Zen master Hakuin and his koans, those perplexing riddles like, what is the sound of one hand clapping?
The point wasn't the answer, right?
No, the point was the process. That intense, quiet contemplation could lead to satori, a sudden flash of insight, an awakening that comes from deep within, not from external answers.
And journaling can be a tool for this kind of inner work.
A really powerful one. Think of Anne Frank. In the most horrific circumstances, her diary was her space to reflect, process, challenge her own thoughts. Paper has more patience than people, she wrote.
So true.
And modern research backs this up. Journaling helps people process trauma, recover from divorce, stop obsessive thoughts. It's a way to structure that quiet contemplation. Ask yourself tough questions. Find clarity.
Okay, so we've talked mind. What about the soul? Stillness seems crucial for building that inner peace, that emotional foundation.
Absolutely. And a big part of that is finding genuine confidence, not ego.
What's the difference, really?
True confidence, the sources say, is earned. It's rational, objective, and it's still. It doesn't need to brag. Ego, on the other hand, is noisy, insecure, easily threatened. And then there's imposter syndrome, that constant fear of being found out.
The David and Goliath story illustrates this well.
Perfectly. David's confidence wasn't arrogance. It came from experience fighting lions and bears. He knew what he could do. Goliath was all ego, all bluster.
And Ulysses S. Grant, saying, "I am solving the problem of poverty while selling firewood." That's quiet confidence.
Exactly. It's an inner peace, even in hardship. That kind of confidence lets you set your own standards, be open to changing your mind, and it cuts out so much unnecessary conflict and resentment. Make space for stillness.
Another key idea for the soul seems to be letting go of control, of that willful will.
Yes, that's a term often used in Eastern philosophy, particularly in things like archery. The master Awakenzo taught his students to stop trying so hard to hit the target.
How does that work?
He urged them to let go of that conscious effort, that desire to force the outcome. to let the arrow fall from you like ripe fruit. Detachment.
It sounds counterintuitive, but you see it in sports, right? Golf, archery.
Totally. The harder you grip, the harder you try to force it, the worse you often do. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. True mastery comes from embracing the process, letting go of chasing the result. That brings a natural stillness.
Like the lotus flower analogy, floating freely.
Yes, rooted but floating. Attached, yet detached. It's a beautiful symbol for that balance.
We also need to be aware of desire, right? And find the meaning of enough.
Oh, definitely. Unchecked desires for power, stuff, status, whatever, they just destroy peace. Envy is a big one. Joseph Epstein called it the only deadly sin that's no fun at all.
Because you're just miserable comparing yourself.
Constantly. There's that great story about Joseph Heller, author of Catch-22. He was at a party hosted by a billionaire, and Kurt Vonnegut pointed out the host made more money in a day than Heller ever made from his book.
What did Heller say?
He said, "Yeah, but I've got something he can never have." Vonnegut asked what? Heller replied, "The knowledge that I've got enough."
Wow, that's powerful. Knowing when you have enough.
It is. John Stuart Mill, the philosopher, had a breakdown when he realized all his achievements didn't actually make him happy. He learned that the need for progress can be the enemy of enjoying the process.
So it's about appreciating what you have, Lao Tzu said.
When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. It's about finding richness within, not constantly seeking it outside.
Nurturing the soul also involves beauty, nature, maybe something bigger than us.
Yes. Anne Frank, again, even hiding, found solace looking at the sky, at nature. "As long as this exists, how can I be sad?" she wrote. Theodore Roosevelt had his forest bathing. Mill found peace in poetry about nature.
Connecting with nature seems almost universally calming.
It does. And connecting with a higher power, however you define that, is another common thread. Think of AA Step 2, admitting powerlessness, believing in a higher power, God as we understand him. It's about surrender, faith.
The Stoics had logos, the Chinese, the Tao.
Yeah.
Accepting forces beyond our control.
Exactly. Finding peace by aligning with something larger. Stephen Colbert talks about his Catholic faith helping him see tragedy in the light of eternity, fighting off nihilism. When so many different traditions point to this, it suggests something important about finding inner peace.
And crucially, stillness isn't about being isolated. Relationships matter. A lot.
Absolutely essential. Johnny Cash, alone in his big empty house, realized he missed his daughter. A someone, not a something. It's a reminder. By ourselves, we are a fraction of what we can be.
So connection is key.
And healthy connection. Look at successful people like Angela Merkel, Madame Curie, J. Cole. They all had strong partnerships supporting them. Love and family aren't obstacles to success. They're often the foundation.
On the flip side, we need to conquer anger.
Definitely. Anger is so destructive to peace. Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech is a kind of cautionary tale, still so consumed by perceived slights, even at the pinnacle of success.
The Buddhists call it a tiger within us.
Yes, tearing away at you. Choosing love, gratitude, purpose as your fuel instead of anger. That's the path to real inner peace and effective action.
And finally, this sense of unity. All is one.
That overview effect, astronauts talk about seeing Earth from space and feeling this profound interconnectedness. It's like agape, that unconditional universal love. Recognizing our shared humanity, the joys and the pains, it connects us.
Understanding that makes personal suffering feel less isolating.
Exactly. And it fosters peace. It motivates us to do good for others, which in turn makes us feel good. It's a positive cycle.
Okay, mind, soul. Now the body. Strengthening the physical vessel. Rest and pacing seem foundational here.
Non-negotiable, really. We talked about overwork dangers, like with American Apparel. The founder, Dov Charney, ran himself into the ground with lack of sleep.
Impaired judgment, erratic behavior.
Led to the company's downfall. Ariana Huffington had her own wake-up call, literally collapsing from exhaustion, breaking her cheekbone. That's when she realized there's no glamour in working oneself to the bone.
And the science on sleep deprivation is clear.
Absolutely. Being awake for nearly 20 hours impairs you as much as being legally drunk. It massively increases negative, repetitive thinking.
But it's not just avoiding the negative. Rest fuels the positive too. Master violinists.
Slept 8.5 hours plus naps. The Zen master Hakuin slept for a month before a major lecture. It's preparation. It's strategic.
Back to Kipchoge pacing. Life's a marathon.
Exactly. Pace yourself for sustained success and for stillness.
And moving the body is crucial too, not just intense exercise, but walking.
Yes. Kierkegaard, the philosopher, said, "I have walked myself into my best thoughts." He walked daily for well-being and ideas.
And so many others. Nietzsche, Tesla, Hemingway, Darwin, Steve Jobs.
The list goes on. Walking isn't just physical, it's mental. It helps you be present, empty the mind, let ideas surface.
What about leisure? Just doing something for its own sake.
Hugely important. Joseph Piper called leisure a basic power of the human soul. Activity with no external goal, just done for joy or restoration.
Like Churchill painting or laying bricks.
Or Musashi, the swordsman, taking up painting, or John Cage hunting for mushrooms. It replenishes the soul.
And that's different from escapism.
Very different. Escapism, like John Fante's gambling and drinking, or Nixon watching endless movies, just numbs pain temporarily. It drains you. True leisure restores you.
Finally, routine and decluttering. How do they help stillness?
Routine automates the small stuff. Think of Fred Rogers' daily rituals, the 5 a.m. reflection, changing into his sweater. It created a stable, comforting platform for his work.
Like Russell Westbrook's pregame rituals.
Exactly. Frees up mental energy by making small decisions automatic. Less friction, more focus, more stillness.
And getting rid of physical stuff. Decluttering.
It creates mental space, too. Epictetus, after his lamp was stolen, just got a cheaper one. A man can only lose what he has. Less attachment, less worry.
John Boyd said, if a man can reduce his needs to zero, he is truly free.
Less stuff equals more freedom, less fear, less mental clutter. More room for peace.
So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway for you listening right now?
It's that downtime stillness across mind, soul, and body. It isn't weakness. It's not laziness.
It's actually a strength, an essential tool.
Absolutely. For resilience, creativity, better relationships, just overall well-being. It's about finding peace inside and out, stopping the war with the world's demands, and maybe even the war with yourself.
And stillness isn't about checking out. It actually helps you engage better.
Right. It gives you the capacity, the energy, the clarity to do more good for more people, to live with more purpose. And doing good feels good, connecting you to something bigger.
It brings to mind that Leonardo da Vinci quote, as a well-spent day brings a happy sleep, so a well-employed life brings a happy death.
Such a powerful thought. How are you really spending your time?
Are you constantly just doing, pushing until you're exhausted? Or are you building a life that allows for genuine peace, real energy? Are you truly living?
Or just performing? Remember, you have the power to choose.
It's a choice that echoes through your whole life down to your deepest sense of peace.
So, what will you choose today?
We really hope this deep dive gave you some useful insights, maybe some practical ideas for finding more stillness in your own life.
We look forward to exploring another topic with you next time.